Kate Vidulich, Metabolic Training expert here at FatLossAccelerators.com, and today we're going to continue in our goal to accelerate fat loss by talking about the 5 worst diet mistakes that you could be making that is definitely not helping you to accelerate fat loss. Now, here we go. Let's get cracking. Mistake number 1, eating too many carbohydrates at the wrong time of day. Now, this has all come about over time, being back in the 90s where they say eating whole grains and low-fat diet will help you to lose fat quickly and is very healthy for you. Now, as we've come to see, this is not the case, and this could still be a mistake that you're making by eating too many carbohydrates, particularly at times like breakfast, where you really need to be eating higher protein foods to wake you up, get you going, plus vegetables. Now, ideally, you want to be eating more carbohydrates, say post-workout, when you've done your training, when your metabolism is firing, and when your body is in that high calorie destruction mode where you're continuing to burn those calories. Now, the best type of carbohydrates to eat is definitely not the refined stuff, all right? I'm sure you already cut out all the white junk any time of day because it really is just not helping you. And you want to be eating things like fruits, beans, legumes, these kinds of carbohydrates that are slower releasing on the insulin and the blood into your blood sugar. All right. Now, by keeping these out of your diet, you're keeping your insulin levels down, and you're helping to keep burning fat during the day. All right. Now that is the plan. So just watch out for the quantity and the time that you eat it. All right. Now, mistake number 2 that you may be making: not getting enough protein. Now, when it comes to eating protein, the ideal range is somewhere between 70 and 120 grams per day. That's all you want to be doing. You don't need to be overloading on all these bars, protein shakes, and getting a lot of protein because your body can't absorb that much. However, you also don't want to be cutting yourself short and eating, 1 egg and then a tiny 2-ounce bite of meat at lunchtime. You want to be getting a good solid amount of protein in at each meal of the day, ranging between 20 and 30 grams, so that you get that feeling of being full. Now that is also going to help you to accelerate your fat loss because you're not going to be like munching, wanting to eat snacks and running around with an empty stomach. Now the third point here, the mistake number 3 is actually a big one. It's snacking too often. Now I think eating every 3 hours, as people say and suggest, is not necessary when you're trying to accelerate fat loss. The reason being is when you're eating these snacks all the time, you constantly have this blood sugar level that's raised and elevated, which means that you're not burning your fat stores as the fuel. You want to be burning those fat stores that you have and getting that out and using that as the fuel. And eating and snacking every 3 hours is definitely not going to help you to do that. So I'm not saying go out and starve yourself to death. That's definitely not what I'm saying. But when you're having a snack or when you feel hungry, then you should eat something. You shouldn't just be eating every 3 hours because someone said it's a good idea to stoke your metabolism by doing that. You definitely want to give yourself a good solid breakfast, say eggs, spinach, and lentils, something like that, that makes you feel full enough that you don't actually need to eat for 5 to 6 hours. So if your breakfast is not filling you up like that, you really need to start back at square one, get a good solid breakfast in, and then train yourself to not need to eat for the next 5 to 6 hours and switching your body into that fat burning mode. And just as a warning, you are not going to go into starvation mode. It's going to take you at least 3 to 4 days of eating absolutely nothing before you go into starvation mode, okay? So don't freak out. You don't need to be eating constantly like a rabbit. You need to give yourself good solid meals with good solid nutrients that lets you utilize those fat stores that you have. All right. Now, mistake number 4 is sugar, overloading on sugar, whether it be eating too much fruit or eating too many diet soda drinks or any of these other fake kinds of sugar. You really want to be keeping sugar out of your diet where possible. Okay. Now, I used to be a sugar addict, total junkie, and I know that the more candy you eat and the more sugar you eat, the more you crave it and the more you desire it. So staying away from those addictive foods like ice cream and even just the diet version of it, the low fat and the less of these other addictive substances, you actually end up wanting to eat more of it and get more of it. And so that is definitely one thing that you should really try hard to detox yourself from and cut out completely. Now, to be honest with you, eating some fruit is cool. If you need some kind of sugar, fruit is your best bet. But again, you don't want to go overboard. You don't want to be eating fruit like a maniac out in the streets. Same thing with nuts, okay? Go easy on the nuts. Okay, so mistake number 5 is not planning your meals, all right? If you're trying to accelerate your fat loss, you really want to have your meals planned. Don't leave anything to chance, particularly if you live in a big city like New York where there is temptations at every corner. You need to wake up and know the plan for the day. I mean, I can't really plan a day in advance because, hey, you don't know what you want to eat tomorrow, but you need like a rough guideline of what you're going to be having. So I think a good idea is, every meal you want to have a protein and you want to have a vegetable of some sort, all right? That is the baseline. What you want to be including is a good palm-sized piece of protein and then a couple of fistfuls of vegetables, okay? So it's pretty easy to measure out, but that is the bare minimum you want to be eating at every meal. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, that is in your mind. That's what you're having for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, protein and vegetables, okay? Then when you're training hard, increase your carbohydrates. I always think that it's best to reward yourself with carbs, the good carbs of course, not those junky ones we were talking about before, but the good carbohydrates that are going to help you to restore your glycogen and help to keep your body functioning and performing at optimal levels, okay? So they are the 5 worst diet mistakes that you could possibly be making that is not helping you to accelerate fat loss. So switch them out of your diet. If you think you've got any friends or anyone else that would benefit from changing their diet in these 5 ways, please pass this video along and share it with your buddies. And if you have any other questions or emails, let me know. Otherwise, looking forward to speaking to you soon. Have an awesome day.